Hey guys, it's Corey from NCB, bringing you another locals feature match. I have Jared with me today.
Hey, what's up?
So it looks like we have Elfnote versus the new Magnet Warrior deck, with the Magnet Warrior deck going first, the Elfnote player using a Perulia in the standby phase, and now the Magnet Warrior is summoning the new Magnum plus minus from hand by sending two level 4 lower Magnet Warriors from the deck.
He's now summoning the beta with the effect of the Sigma Plus.
And now the beta is most likely going to be adding the Sigma minus, which is the new fusion 5 mana-esque effect for the Magnet Warrior strategy. So here we see him using the Sigma minus now, which has to use itself as fusion material, and then the beta on field to summon the new Plasma Magnum fusion.
This will add the quick play spell, or one of the big monsters.
Yep, so that was attempting to add the Magnet Bonding quick play, which was met with an Ash Blossom from our Elfnote player.
Looks like a lot of non-engine in hand, so you can definitely just set and pass here.
It does seem like he has, I believe it was 2 infinite impermanences and a Super Poly, with a Nibiru in hand as well actually, so that, yes, quite a lot of non-engine there. Not enough engine to keep pushing through his own strategy unfortunately on his own turn, but definitely enough where he should feel like he's not in too bad of a spot here to try and stun his opponent and get the turn back to him.
Elfnote does struggle at going second, and without being able to summon the Fiendsmiths due to being all Earths, they might struggle a bit.
Yeah, Elfnote does actually have a problem playing into established boards, and as you said, the new fusion does change all monsters on the field to Earth, which will limit the Fiendsmith plays, as Requiem does require a light Fiend specifically. The interaction with Super Poly as well in the Magnet Warrior deck, with all the monsters being made Earth, is actually more significant here in this matchup, as the Elfnotes just inherently play around Super Poly by all being different attributes, but the Magnet Fusion monster will alter that to be in their favour. So here we see a normal summon of the Herald, which can send a fairy from deck or extra to the graveyard, but that's being met with an infinite impermanence.
He's now activating the spell to summons from deck, avoiding the imperm column.
Yeah, he's being, as this is a locals, it's a bit more lenient, so his opponent did let him move it to a non-imperm column.
I didn't see the discard, but I assume it's one of the Elfnote names.
Yeah, unfortunately it is a bit off camera, but it would have to be a different attribute than the one that's being summoned, so a non-fire monster was sent to special summon the Lucina from the deck, which is now being met with another infinite impermanence. So it looks like we might not see any further plays by the Elfnote player, might not have enough engine to continue playing. Or maybe he only has Fiendsmith cards, which doesn't allow him to really play through the Magnet Fusion.
No, it looks like he's been stunned out of the game.
Seems so. So now it's been passed back to the Magnet Warrior player here, who's now using the Fusion Monster's Ignition effect to conduct an additional normal summon of a Rock monster.
Cost to send too.
Yep, so he gets to send the Tellusion Magnet Warrior, which is quite a good send here, as it can banish materials from the graveyard to summon itself. Sigma minus and Sigma plus now being banished to summon it. Leave the on-field effect of the Tellusion is to respond to your opponent's card effect or monster effect to destroy and steal that monster if it was Earth, but I believe that's only during your opponent's turn. So we're just going into battle phase here, clearing all the monsters here, and he's actually pretty much just got lethal here on field, clearing all the monsters and then using a Poly to conduct another summon to get the extra body to do lethal. And now we're into game 2 here with the Elfnote player choosing to go first. A Fill Loss will be used in the standby phase by the Magnet Warrior player.
Rough game 2.
Yeah, not the best card you want to see from your opponent going into game 2 after losing game 1 that quickly. So here we see a normal summon of Meteors the Pure, which can special summon or add the Power Patron to hand, but he has chosen to summon it from deck. On resolution of that, he has decided to draw Lockbird himself now, as Elfnote can play through Joel to a certain extent, especially the Fiendsmith engine, which we are seeing now.
And all the Elfnotes seem to place to face up field.
Majority of the Elfnotes all place face up field except for the Monster Searcher.
Lucina, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. Now we see the Requiem summoning the Lacrima, which sent the Engraver, and now the Fortuna is being specialed from the hand. This one is the one that can place the continuous trap card. Trap card being pretty strong interrupt for the Elfnote strategy, as it does reborn one of their monsters from the graveyard, and then if they have a synchro monster on the field, they can non-targeting negate a face-up card. Fiendsmith Engraver now being summoned, shuffling back, I believe, the Artemis, and now he's linking off the Fiendsmith Engraver and the Lacrima into sequence, and then sequence effect used here to fusion summon, but that was being met with a bell.
You can bell that?
Yep, you can bell that, as the materials being shuffled out of the graveyard does consist of an effect that would remove them from the graveyard, and bell can negate effects like that. So now we use the trap card, sending the sequence as cost to reborn a non-light Power Patron or Elfnote, sorry. We Synchro Summon into the Elfnote Synchro 7 using the Fortuna and the Power Patron, and now those two monsters are being used to create the Crystal Wing. And we do see the water one come down here too, which then places the continuous spell from the deck face up. So these face-up spell and traps do have protection as well that they give to the Elfnote player. So the continuous spell does make the middle monster on their side of the field undestructible by card effects, and then the red one, I do believe, makes them attack the middle monster when they declare attacks.
So now just explaining the effect to his opponent.
Yep, so he's explaining the effects that are only active during the opponent's turn, where they switch themselves with the middle monster zone to perform a specific effect. So the fire one bounces level 6 or lower monster to the hand.
Oh, so Plasma can dodge that effect just by being an 8 or higher?
Yes, that's correct. So it can only bounce level 6 or lower. So if you are using a deck that summons level 7s or higher, you don't have to worry about the Lucina being an actual interrupt.
Looks like he won't be doing that though.
Yeah, it does look like, I believe he's got 3 Forbidden Droplets in his hand. So not much engine at all here. So he's having to normal summon the Kokimiru Guardian and then go into a Typhon here. But now we see a response of the Elfnote Trap, which is sending the Bell as cost to revive an Elfnote with a different attribute from the graveyard, and then now, because he controls a synchro monster being the Crystal Wing, he'll be able to negate the Typhon. That's being met with a Forbidden Droplets, which is a pretty heads up play here to try and dodge the negation of the trap card. So here we're going to negate the Lucina in the middle monster zone, and then Typhon will resolve to bounce the Crystal Wing to the extra deck. Sets those other forbidden droplets and then passes priority to his opponent, and then in the end phase, the level 7 Elfnote Synchro is bringing back the Tinia.
Might be a quick game 2 now.
Yeah, it is looking that way. That is pretty one-sided here at this point. And the writing was on the wall, and the Magnet Warrior sees that, so he concedes game 2 and they go into game 3. Do we see a Charmy in the standby phase again in game 3?
We see a Droll on the turn player's hand.
Doesn't look like we see a Charmy, but as you said, we do see a Droll on the Magnet Warrior side. See, the Magnum Plus is coming down, sending the 2 monsters from the deck to grave as cost. A Bell being used on the Sigma Plus here, that would have revived the Beta.
Stopping the 1-card combo.
Yep, so that does stop the 1-card combo. But it does look like we have quite a few extenders in hand here, so we're now using the Sigma Minus to conduct a Fusion Summon. Using those 2 bodies here to make the Plasma Magnum, which then on summon will add a Magnet Bonding. Just thinking of what next step he wants to do. Either conduct a Fusion Summon or he can do a Search. This looks like he's searching for a level 4 or lower magnet using the first effect of Magnet Bonding, as you can use each effect once per turn.
He's now sending Delusion.
Sending the Delusion off the Fusion effect to conduct another normal summon, summoning the Beta from the hand. But now that's searching another Sigma Minus. Summoning the Delusion now, banishing the Sigma Minus and Plus. So the Elfnote player here is just clarifying what the effect of the new Delusion Magnet Warrior does. So during his turn, so during the opponent's turn of the Magnet player, he can tribute to special back the 2 banished materials, and then he also has another effect that when the Elfnote player will use a monster effect, he can chain to it to destroy that card or steal it if he controls an Earth monster instead.
Which he now does.
She now does that due to the fusion. So we see the Lucina come down here, and then its effect is search, and then that's being responded to by the Delusion effect, which is then stealing it. It is a permanent steal as well, so that's something that needs to be kept in mind of the Elfnote player. So it looks like the remaining interrupts that we can actually see at the present is just the... Does it look like there's any engine interrupt that I can see actually?
Beta can tag out into another name, into the Omega Plus.
Magnet Warrior Mega Plus, yes, that is a Book of Moon. The Droll Lockbird here coming down is also quite devastating for the Elfnote player at this point as well. Playing into an established field with one less card because of the Bell, and then the Lucina being stolen, and then having a Droll dropped on you after that.
And he definitely has the gas to kill you on the next turn if you don't put up enough.
Yeah, definitely enough bodies to just go for the OTK if you can't put up enough defense here. So here we see a talents being used to take control. We're going to chain the Delusion here to tribute summon, or tribute it, sorry, to use its effect to special summon the 2 banished Magnet Warrior monsters, and then the Beta is also using the effect to summon the Omega Plus from the deck.
This is one way to force out his 1 negation and steal it.
Yep, so it's definitely forcing out any other interaction that the Elfnote player might not be aware of here, so now he needs to pretty much navigate this field, clarifying all the effects that he doesn't know that he might not have seen in game 1 or 2. So he's deciding to take back his monster, the Lucina. It's now normal summoning the Power Patron and using a Super Poly on the Magnet Warrior side, as they're both now Earth, to summon the Mud Dragon.
That might be all she wrote here, I feel it.
It definitely could be. So we see the Sigma Plus now using its second effect to special summon a monster from the graveyard as it was discarded off the Super Poly.
Just the fusion checking all the Fiendsmith half.
Yeah, that and the Droll just stopping any kind of tracked or engraver plays if the Elfnote player were to have any. So here we see the BLS Link 3, which I have not seen in quite a while here. It's a very interesting Link monster to play. It does help go for OTK lines. Looks like they're just calculating damage here. And that does seem to be enough for game. And we do see 2 Fiendsmith cards here, one being engraver, one being tracked. The Droll and Lockbird being extremely good into those 2 cards, particularly from last turn, was quite unfortunate. Hope you enjoyed this feature with the new Magnet Warrior cards. Please leave us a like if you enjoyed the content, and we hope to catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.